Welcome to the Reidsville Chamber of Commerce News and Views Show. I'm your host, Diane Sawyer, and today we have a very special guest with us, one of our ambassadors, Kathryn Church. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I am very excited for you to be here.
Me too.
I don't know how we've made it this far and never done this together.
I figured it was on purpose.
Not at all.
You don't want me in a camera.
Not at all. Not at all. So we kind of have, I was trying to think, we have a long history. How long have you been an ambassador now?
2017 or 2018.
Yeah, so a while. And you're our reigning ambassador of the year.
Yeah, for 3 more weeks.
Yep, I know. So that has been kind of a wild ride. So let's talk about that a little bit. One of the things on the show that I like to do is kind of a meet the board member, meet the ambassador, meet the staff. And so it's your turn. So just tell us a little bit about who you are, like who you are, where you grew up, kind of how you landed here.
Okay, so I'm Kathryn, and I'm a Rockingham County native my whole life. I went to UNCG, so I lived in Greensboro for a little bit, but born and raised in Stoneville, the little metropolitan city of Stoneville. And funny story, I was actually talking to some other chamber members at the coffee on Wednesday, and we were talking about how I think she was from Eden growing up, and for some reason Reidsville always had a reputation of being bad, like of being scary. I don't know why that was, but like Stoneville and Eden, like Eden and Reidsville have like a rival. But it was literally the chamber that got me into Reidsville because I was still living in Stoneville or Eden, and getting involved with the chamber because of my jobs made me fall in love with Reidsville. And I now live in Reidsville and I love it. And just being an ambassador, being able to have so many connections with like the businesses and just people of the county, the city officials, elected officials. And I really feel like that I was thrust into the city and into this community, and I love it. People have said that I'm like famous because I'm in all these pictures with the ribbon cuttings, and of course with my chiropractic job, I do screenings all over the county, and I'm like everywhere, and I'm like, but it's the chamber that allowed me to be that and to do that, so.
Well, for me, it's also the chamber that allowed that, because most people know, you know, I grew up in Eden, and same, like until I came to Reidsville with my mom, who's been at Annie Penn for almost 30 years, and I was a junior volunteer at the hospital. That was my first real introduction to Reidsville, but then I circled back as an adult for this job, and you're right. I mean, Reidsville used to have a reputation of a lot of things, and it's just, quite frankly, like, it's the most happening place. Like it's the most fun. It's the most diverse. It's the most, I think it has the most opportunities of all of the county. But you know, we all work together and we all have our own little place in the county. So I am thankful for you.
Thanks.
Our ambassadors, we talk about them being the heart of the chamber. They really are, because they're the people who we count on to help us through our events and to be those extra hands and extra faces and show up and support our other businesses. So you've done such a great job of that, and we're very thankful.
Thank you. I've actually put more of my money and business into chamber members. Like I have made it a point to like seek out other chamber members and support them, as opposed to going like outside of Reidsville or businesses that don't. So if you are not joining the chamber yet, this is your plug. You need to. It's awesome.
That's right. It is awesome. But isn't it so rewarding to be able to go spend your hard-earned dollars in their business and know that you're supporting their dream and like what they're doing? And
it's been mutual. So I mean, you guys have referred people to me, and
it's so awesome. I love what we do here. So I'm thankful for that. So let's talk a little bit about how this all started for us and me and you was Dr. T and how awesome he is. So Dr. Thompson with Rockingham Chiropractic, he has been an amazing sponsor for us through golf tournament and several other events. And I think, you know, he was like, Kathryn, you got to go do the screening. And so that's where it all started.
I know. So he is a phenomenal doctor, chiropractor, and a phenomenal business owner. Like you said, a sponsor, but he is a phenomenal
boss.
He's a phenomenal boss and friend. I mean, like, I've now worked there. I started August of 2017, so coming up on some years here, and like it's so nice to be able to say that your boss is your friend. And I literally, when I'm leaving here, I'm going to his house to do some like goal setting for the year, because with my job, it's very different. I don't work in the office. I do all the community stuff. I do the screenings on site at local businesses. And I told him the other day, I was like, we're gonna have to change our meeting time because I'm actually going to do this like news and views thing. And so he'll be very glad to know that he got a shout out. But he is a great boss. And so if anybody doesn't have a chiropractor, Dr. Thompson at Rockingham Chiropractic, it is on the other side of the river, just inside Eden.
Just inside.
But I mean, honestly, I do more in Reidsville than I do any other city in the county.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
He is awesome, and his staff is awesome. And
yeah.
He does things throughout the years. He does the school supply drive for the teachers, and he does the toy drive at Christmas.
Food
and
drive at Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. I can't keep up. You guys are always super busy doing that stuff. Talk to me a little bit about the free screenings. So we've been talking about the screening at the event.
Right.
Explain to people what that is, so in case they've never experienced it, what that looks like.
So I have a 6-foot table with this beautiful purple tablecloth that says Rockingham Chiropractic. It's like a billboard that I use that looks like our sign as you're passing by on 14. And I hand out free materials, but the biggest benefit is that I can actually do on-site posture checks, neck curvature checks, weight distribution, and those are just all like very quick ways that I can tell if something's out of alignment in your spine. So if you're standing on 2 scales and you're pulling more to one side or the other, it's like if your car is pulling to one side or the other, it's an alignment issue. So that's a really great way of somebody realizing before they have symptoms, before they have pain, before it's going to take a whole lot more money or they're looking at surgery or whatever, to be like, hey, I can actually be proactive and preventative with my health, and I can come in and maintain proper health before I'm having to like go back and fix it. Because the whole like, what is it? Don't fix it if it ain't broke, something like that. I'm like, don't treat your body like that. You know, you don't treat your car like that. You don't wait till the engine blows up to get an oil change.
That's right.
Why do we take better care of our vehicles than our bodies?
And it's just a place where we are, I think, in life, and we've really got to try to reverse that. And those of us, you know, it's why it was so hard for me, I think, during the pandemic, having the public health education background and trying to get people to be proactive for their businesses while keeping a global pandemic in mind. It was a lot of work, and it was a lot of thought process.
Yeah.
So,
and the pandemic actually propelled us because it made people realize that the best defense against any sickness is your immune system.
That's right.
And every time you get an adjustment, it boosts your immune system 200%. So we had people coming to our office because, I mean, we were essential worker. I mean, obviously we didn't have to close down because we're helping people to stay healthy.
That's right.
Of course, like we did the whole social distancing, we had to modify everything that we were doing, but we never wanted to keep people from getting healthier.
Heck no.
So, but yeah, it's the pandemic and everything has caused a lot of people's mental health to go down, and getting adjusted also helps mental health. Like it literally, when your body feels better, you think better, you act better, your thought process, everything is just healthier.
Yeah, I love to listen
can't speak enough about it.
He does such a great job of explaining things, and so when we've had coffee there, I love to listen to the way he's able to bring it all together for people. And he was so awesome, like to, you know, ask people to, hey, do your screening, we'll donate $10 to the chamber.
Right.
That was really cool. So, you know, I think that things like that just make him stand out. And, you know, as a business owner in this community, and the things that he does. So very appreciative for him. He cracks me up though on social media. He has quite the following on social media because he is quite the bandstander there on some things.
I tell him all the time, I'm like, you need me to edit your posts because you've got 17 exclamation points. Like, and he gets on rants and gets on soapboxes, but it gets engagement. And that's the thing, is that he wants community involvement. Like he'll post random stuff just to get people to like comment, and then before you know it, there's like whole conversations. Yeah. Which is getting people from all over the county to just
pay attention.
About a topic. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's
I think one of my favorite topics, you know, there have been a couple that have just gotten like, how much do you tip your server? And I was like, Lord have mercy, he opened a can of worms. on that, because having been in that industry and done that, I'm really big on it, especially in this community where I feel like sometimes people don't understand how that works. So I appreciate his ability to just create conversation. It's awesome. So, well, let's talk about, okay, so you come to these events and you wear your ambassador badge and you wear your Rockingham Chiro stuff.
I'm not wearing it today, and I always wear it.
I know.
It's weird.
It's weird.
I do have a badge, though.
Yes, you do. And, you know, you come to these events and they have things like the golf tournament where these people are coming out, which is actually a sport, actually a physical activity. But then there's all the volunteers and there's all these other people, too. And you're screening people. And then you come to this event like a business expo where we see all these people from the public, and then there's all these other folks who work that event that we don't typically see at chamber events, right? That's like a whole new crowd of the marketing person, second and third in line, that come help them staff these booths and stuff. And so you get to do this great screening, and it's introducing people to him. But then you're also wearing something that says "Ask me about Medicare." So tell us about. Gosh, it's already been what, 2? No. So So tell us about KC Insurance and how all that came to be for you.
Yeah. So I'm Kathryn Church, KC. My dad is Ken Church. He has been in the insurance industry since 1992. He was actually a reporter with Eden Daily News, which is how he knows Roy, the guy behind the camera. But then when I was born, he was like, okay, this is not going to pay the bills and feed my child. So he got into insurance and has done so well with it. It's been a one-income household. My mom was able to stay at home and homeschool me and my sister. And I never thought that I would get into insurance. I got a psychology degree in college, minored in Spanish, wanted to be a counselor in school systems and be able to be bilingual. That didn't happen. I've done a lot of other things. But in 2020, again, when the world shut down, my dad just proposed the idea because one of my jobs got shut down because of the pandemic. Chiropractic still was going on, but there were so few businesses open for me to screen that it was like I was just trying to find ways to like earn my keep in the business. So Dad was just like, hey, if you want to use this time that you have, that you've been on the go so much for years, that you've not slowed down this much, why don't you just consider like getting your insurance license? If you don't like it, you know, he's like, I'll pay you back for the time and the money that you're like putting into, you know, because you got to spend money to make money.
Sure.
I got my insurance license, kind of went like part-time the first year with, 2021. And I was like, I really like this. I love helping people. And I realized that the 65 and over community, the ones that aren't as savvy with technology are getting scammed, and people are calling them illegally, and I'm just like, I'm wanting to help them so much because I have been able to help people to get thousands of dollars back from getting scammed, and be able to help them, put them at ease, like where they can have peace about the insurance coverage that they have. And I love it. So I let my life insurance license expire. So I'm in the process of getting that back. But, of course, with my dad, we can still, like, he can still co-sign on things.
Sure.
And we help people with all kinds of retirement planning. So if you're looking to retire and you have a 401k, we can help to roll that over where you get more interest than banks and it's less risky than stocks. So basically like with annuities, and so we help people that are aging, that are getting up there. And of course, if you're on disability, you can be on Medicare younger than I am. I have clients that are younger than I am that are on Medicare because of disability. So so KC Insurance is, that's definitely more of my like number one career. That will be what I do until Jesus comes back. I don't even plan to retire from that. Dr. Thompson is super gracious and like very supportive, not just gracious, but very supportive in me doing this, and wants to make sure that I am excelling, and he wants to propel me in that.
That's awesome.
It's a really great setup.
So let's break it down for people. Let's do some nuts and bolts. Let's do a little quick info session on, so you threw out some quick things, but break down Medicare, like age, like when people should be looking, how you help them, and what that looks like.
Yeah. Okay. So with Medicare, the 65 is like the age, but you have a 3 month prior to your birth month and 3 months after your birth month enrollment period for that. So I help people with their initial enrollment period. I'm actually in the process of helping Star right now, because shout out to Star. She's about to be 65, or actually, is she already 65?
Yeah.
She just turned 65.
No, she's getting ready to be.
About to be.
January 25th. Yep.
Yes. So I'm helping her, and I've helped several chamber members with that turning 65. Also, if you're already on Medicare, then you can make changes towards like in the fall of the year, which is when I'm rocking my tie-dye Ask Me About Medicare shirt. Just letting people know, like, hey, I can help. I work out of my home. I can come to your home. I can offer you. Yes, come to the chamber. I represent multiple companies. So all of the national companies that you know of: Aetna, Humana, United Healthcare, Health Team Advantage that's local here in Greensboro, Devoted Health, which is the fastest growing Advantage plan in the country, but also new to North Carolina. So a lot of people don't know about that one. And yeah, so I'm just like, I can give options, and I always will recommend like what's best for the client. Like, it's never about what's in my best interest. The companies pay me the same. I have no loyalty to any of them. And it just helps people where I'm like I genuinely care. And if they're in a great plan, I tell them, hey, stay in your plan. Even if I can't be your agent, that's okay. Like, I want you to be in a good spot. Next year we'll reassess and see if there's something that's better for you. So, and they can be really confusing. Like,
yeah, and so when you say
confusing.
that, you're referring to their Medicare like health insurance plan.
Yep.
And people have, I think, a lot of questions about that, because they're like, oh, okay. So now what does that mean? Like, do I have that in an additional? Is that my main? Like, what does that mean? And so people don't understand how all that stuff works.
I know. If you've paid into Social Security for, most of your life working, then you get Part A at no cost. That's your hospital insurance. Part B is your medical insurance. That is a premium. Most of the time, that's just deducted from your Social Security check every month. It's pretty much the same for everybody in the country, unless you just make an astronomical amount of money, and then you got to pay a little bit more. But then the other things are extra. So you can do supplements, which is going to be a separate premium on top of that, but it doesn't include the benefits like dental and vision and hearing and over-the-counter products, food, and those premiums go up every year. So I tend to recommend these zero premium Advantage plans, the Part C, which a lot of people don't, they're leery about that, but I'm just like, hey, like, the money you would be spending in supplements, put that into this, and if you need to use it for like a copay or whatever, then you have it. If you don't use it, then you're gonna have all this money at the end of the year. Plus, it includes the dental, the vision, the hearing, like all these things, and so it's just a way to help people save money and get more.
Yeah, and then I think a lot of people are confused about, okay, if they get their Social Security, well, then what does that mean? Like, if they get money, can they still work? And how much can they work? And like, they get real confused about all that stuff.
Oh yeah, it can be confusing. And of course, there's like the whole, if you wait later to retire, then you get more on your Social Security. But I'm like, but we're not promised another day. So if you're able to retire, like, live while you can, travel while you can. Why do you want to wait till you're 70 to start living? I want to live my retired life now, which is why I've created a life for myself where I work from home. I basically work for myself. I want people to live while they can, like while they're still have that youthful vitality. So I encourage people to retire younger. I mean, you might get $100 more a month or something like that, but I'm like, find a part-time job.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Do something where, you're still getting your Social Security check, you're retired, and then you can just like pick up some hobbies or part-time job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did that answer your question?
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. And and it's mostly because those are the things I hear,
Yes.
And so I think that, and having been in public health education, I worked for an organization that was a nonprofit, and underneath our umbrella, we had a federally qualified health center, we had a free clinic, we had my programs, which were very similar to you going out and doing the screenings. We were doing screenings for diabetes and screenings for hypertension, and we would do classes to try to get people so that they could understand and learn and get connected to people who could help them with that. And we would do chronic disease management. So I would teach the Stanford diabetes classes. And so there were all these things that, you know, I did in my former job. So it's like, I find that my previous life and my current life crashed together a lot just because I transitioned from helping people with health and wellness to helping people with the health and wellness of their businesses. Yeah. And so like I'm able to, and a lot of times their business is health and wellness. So a lot of times those things kind of collide and come back together. And I love it when they do because I'm able to kind of keep up my knowledge and the things that I can do to help people because I just told somebody this week, I was like, you know, people think that the chamber is about events and network. And so you made the point that people are like, oh, I see you all the time. And that is what people see, right? But a lot of times people don't understand that this right here, like this is a huge benefit, like somebody getting the word out about themselves and their business, because people come up to me all the time and say, oh, we saw you and so on the TV and it was such a great conversation. And but then we're also here as a resource. Like the biggest piece of being a member of the chamber is one, you're supporting what we're all doing to make Reidsville and Rockingham County a better community to live in, to play in, to work in, to buy your health care, play, you know, whatever it is. But also we're here as a resource, right? And so we have all this knowledge between all of us. And if we don't know, we call a member or we refer them to a member. And that's what we're really about, is we're like the people 411, right? So like, if you want to know something, you just call the chamber. We're going to help you figure it out. Whether it's like a basic, like, community at large question or whether it's like a specific business question. So I'm just thankful for all the people that are involved and kind of how we have come to pass with this. So what else would you want people to know? I know we talked a little bit before we hopped on about how you have a podcast. You want to tell people about that and how they can be a part?
I've actually had several chamber members on my podcast, and I've got several in the queue that are coming on. But my podcast is called Church Talks. So my last name is Church. So it doesn't mean that it's going to be conversations related around church, but I just have, I don't even know I should probably know this because it's my like slogan, but it's like, you know, real and raw conversations that you may or may not discuss in church. And so a lot of it is, I mean, we talk about faith, we talk about business. I've got business owners and entrepreneurs and healthcare professionals, pastors, stay-at-home moms. I've got a host of guests on my podcast, and that's something that actually started in the pandemic. When you have more time on your hands, you can get insurance licenses and start a podcast and do all these things. So I think I've had probably close to 80 guests, and I am starting my 6th season this month. I've already recorded a couple episodes and plan on getting those out this weekend. And so that's been huge. And I love not only the volunteer opportunities that I have with the chamber, but I do a lot of volunteer opportunities with like recovering addicts. So Teen Challenge in Greensboro, I'll be there tomorrow. Actually, I go every second Saturday to minister to the guys there, and it's amazing. Like, and then prison ministry, I'll be there on Sunday night, going to a prison in Yanceyville. It's just, I mean, the guys there, once they've been called or once they realize that they can't handle what they've gotten themselves into, they're so much more honest and humble and teachable and ready to receive some more hope. And that's what I want to give, regardless of any hat that I wear. I wear so many hats, but like I want to promote health and I want to promote hope. And like letting people know that Jesus is hope, and like you don't have to be a cookie cutter Christian to live a life full of hope, or you just want to make people's lives better. You want to like just give them courage, show them kindness. So I have friends that are atheists and agnostic and Buddhists and Hindu, and I've got friends of all kinds, and like we're able to love and agree to disagree on things. So that's something else I talk about in the podcast. And I love people. Like I'm a lover of mankind, and I hope that shows.
I was gonna say it shows so big. I mean, people know that. Yeah. I think when your name comes up, like it's instantly like a smile with whoever you're talking about. You know, I think that we know that you're one of the people that we can count on, and that's huge to us as a small staff trying to pull off some of these things that are so much bigger than us. And, you know, we have cycles and we have seasons and we have people who come and go and people who are big for a while and then they move on to bigger and better things. But we love it when we have those that have been around for a while and stay, and we get to know them personally, and we all get to kind of be a part of each other's lives personally, because the chamber's all about relationships, but I mean, that's what life's about, right? I mean, relationships and how we can all do those things that you're saying, how we can promote and give hope and love and kindness. And, you know, that was sort of my tagline during COVID was I kept telling people, like, if you could just show a little more grace, just a little more kindness, because you just don't know, like, what's going on. And there were so many people who were so convinced that it was a hoax. And then here we are in 2024 still dealing with what it's like and the after effects, and starting to finally get back to, oh, okay, COVID's just like the flu or RSV or whatever, and that's great. That, you know, we're finally getting to a place where it's mutated and it's, you know, a little more contagious, but a little less, I guess, like a little less harsh, but it still is. It still kills people. The flu still kills people. RSV still kills people, and babies specifically. So, you know, there's a lot of bad, there's a lot of negative out there, but the kindness and grace was what I have really stood on since then, because I realized that if business owners, I told them many times on those weekly meetings, it doesn't matter what you think, it matters what your customers think. It matters what your customers see. And if you want your business to be successful and survive this, you've got to address what your customers think, what they see, what they want. So if they want you to wear a mask when they come in your business, it doesn't matter if you agree with it or not. It's about what your customers think. And so that's, you know, and so I would tell people, like, don't bandstand on Facebook about what you think about all this stuff if you want to keep customers. But if you don't care about that, then, you know, by all means. But that was something, and you have exuded kindness, grace, love, all those things from the moment that we all met you. And so we're thankful for you. And I'm like, I can't believe that we're coming to this show now in 2024. Like, I don't know how, I guess we hadn't slowed you down enough to say, Kathryn, stop for 30 minutes. We want to talk to you on the show.
Well, and something else that you said that I wanted to talk about just for like a second was, you said the cycles of business and the cycles of like just seasons in our life. Something else that has transpired, or I think that has become more trendy, but it really shouldn't be a trend, but it's mental health and the cycles that we go through. That's another huge topic of my podcast. And something else, I mean, I just feel like I can give a million plugs for the chamber, but I see my fellow ambassadors and chamber people more than I do my family on any given week. And like, even just like me and you, we've been able to like share mental health struggles, highs, lows. We've cried together. We have just been able to say, like, you know what, I don't want to do it today. Like, I don't want to do life today. And yet we show up because like there's something bigger than how we feel, but we can still be honest with each other and vulnerable. And that's something that you don't get everywhere. Like, that's just the honesty that I feel like within our group. I mean, I could get emotional like talking about it, but mental health is so huge, which is why the kindness aspect of it is like, we don't know what someone's going through. And the pandemic was not just didn't just hurt people's health physically, the economy was hurt. Like it killed businesses. The ones that sustained through it are like,
and some of them are still struggling.
Some of them are still struggling. And so I mean, that's why it's so important to support local, support small business, be kind, tip your servers. Like, if a restaurant is short-staffed, or if anything's short-staffed, don't get PO'd about it. Like, just be thankful that they're open, that they're still serving you, you know?
That's a big pet peeve for me. And, you know, it's funny that you say it. It all ties back to, I think, the mental health piece. You know, I think I have admitted like several things. I'm known for being honest. Like, everybody knows that. Yeah. I'm known for not always being maybe as professional because I'm honest about things, but I feel like that I'm back to the chamber. Our chamber is about relationships and about being able for people to know that they can call me, text me, come see me, and be raw and honest and real, and the highs and the lows. I've helped name new businesses or additional businesses. I've helped see people grow into that, but I've helped people close businesses. I've helped people move away from franchises. Like and so there are highs and lows in business, and there are highs and lows in everything. But you're right, the mental health piece has become, and even just lately in our community, just such a big, I just wish people talked about it more. I wish people I wish we could get away from the old school, like you show up, you do your job, and you go home, and that's it. Like, that's just not where we are. And so, and it's funny that you say that, and you've already mentioned the guy behind the camera. Roy and Rockingham Update, I mean, same thing. Like, he has a small business. He is doing big things in our county, but he's one of those people for me. Like, he is one of those, like, we have a running joke about, like, and I sent a text this morning, happy Friday, like, and I won't go into our private joke, but like, it's me and him and a couple other board members, and we're like, it's just funny, but it's a mental health thing. It is. It's a pickup. It's a funny run-in, like, have a good day, like a reminder that people care about you. And that matters. And that's all that matters. I know. At the end of the day, like, and and not to get all emotional, and then not to get all whatever religious or talk about church or whatever, but like, the shortest verse in the Bible is Jesus wept. Yep. And people talk about all the meaning behind that and what led up to that and what comes after. But like, he openly wept, right? Like, if we're modeled in his, after him, like, I think it should be okay for us to show our emotions and to be able to be who we really are. So
God gave us all the emotions.
That's right.
And I think the latest research is that we have 87 emotions that can surface. They can all surface on any given day.
And they can look different and look the same and look like a big old crazy mess too. So but we're beautiful mess.
I was going to say, and we can just be honest about it. Yeah. And I love that, like, literally when I end, like, phone conversations or any kind of conversations, like, I say, I love you to my fellow chamber members.
Oh my
and
God.
I'm like, I genuinely do love them. And I might say I love you to anybody because, I mean, I do. I love people, but it's just different.
It is different.
It's different. It's a different kind of love. It's family.
Well, we're out of time.
Okay.
But is there anything else that you want to share? About you, about your volunteering, about your jobs, about people?
Man, we've covered a lot.
How do they find your podcast?
It's on Spotify, Apple. You can Google it. Okay. There's actually like multiple. I think it's on every platform.
Awesome.
So just search.
And how
for
do they
Church
find
Talks
you
podcast.
How do they find you for Casey Entrance?
Yeah, so I work out of my home. I don't have a brick and mortar, but I'll just give my cell phone number. It's 336-453-4410. You can call, text. My email is just my name, so katherine.e.church@gmail.com. I think the spelling of my name will be on this.
Yeah, it will be, and you can always call the chamber, and we'll help you.
You can always call the chamber. My business cards are up there, and you'll probably see my business cards all over multiple businesses that I kept leaving them and corking them and whatever. I just tried to support businesses during Medicare season. That was my office. I just went to different restaurants every day and like took up a whole 3 hours of a server section and tipped them well, just so that I could be there and help people and show off ask me about Medicare shirt.
That's smart. Yeah. That's very smart. Yep. Well, we love you, and we are so thankful for you, and we are glad to have you on here. So
thank you.
Thank you for being a guest today.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you. Love everybody.
And mean it. All right, folks, that is it for today's news and views. We are so thankful for all of you. And as always, you can find us in downtown Reidsville at 140 South Scale Street, online at reidsvillechamber.org, or any of our social media outlets. And we'll see you soon.